If you are a woman living her best hot mess express life while simultaneously crushing it, and you're craving more clarity, purpose, and excellence, get ready because you're in the right spot. I am your host, Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, and I want to welcome you to Season 2 of All Things Excellence, the podcast, where I'll be bringing you all the inspiration and insights your excellence-seeking heart desires. This season, I'm stepping back into chasing big, bold, and absolutely terrifying goals, sharing every honest step and misstep along the way. We're continuing our beloved Unscripted series, featuring live clarity coaching sessions with guests just like you, and diving deep into raw behind-the-scenes stories of powerhouse women founders I am wildly obsessed with, whose journeys will fuel your own. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover just how close you are to the life your soul is calling you to create. This is All Things Excellence. Hey, All Things Excellence fam. Welcome to our next episode of Unscripted. Today, I have a coaching client here. She is an Enneagram 8. She is a 2-4 emotional manifesting generator, if you know what your Enneagram or your human design is. And she has this desire. Her deepest desire is to get off the boat, or to get a boat to get off the island of indecision. Now, to explain a little bit more about that, when you are an Enneagram 8 and you're feeling a little stressed, or the amount of uncertainty that you have in your life has gotten way too high, you tend to go to your 5. Like, you tend to start picking on some of the attributes of an Enneagram 5, meaning you get into the land of analyzation, paralyzation, overthinking. And I always joke that there was a season of my life where every day a new Amazon book was arriving on the front doorstep because I was reading another piece of business or a piece of psychology, because you get to this place where you're just so convinced that if I can just learn more, I can figure it out. Like, there's just something I don't know. So if I can figure out what I don't know, and I can make the pivots that I need to pivot, I know that I will become the success that I'm supposed to be. And so that's what an 8 does. They go into this land of thinking. Now, personally, I had found an island and built a mansion. It was very comfortable. I put sharks around it, crocodiles around it. Nobody was allowed on, and I definitely wasn't leaving. And I spent way too much of my life there when I really finally one day figured out, oh my gosh, I'm allowed to go to coffee with my 5. I might even go to an Airbnb for a weekend, but we are limited to 3 days. And after that, we need to get off the island, get back home into the land of doing. Now, my friend that's on today, we were having this conversation. She's a member of the book club, and we were talking about the Enneagram, and we got to talking about how you've kind of been potentially living on the island of your need to know, maybe overthinking, over-researching Enneagram 5-ishness, correct?
Mega mansion, and I've been hanging out.
Yes. You built a mansion and you've been hanging out. Very Yes, very much so. So her deepest desire today in this session is that she wants to have this boat to get off the island of indecision. She also wants to be able to make peace with social media for the beast that it is and embrace it. And how long do you think I've been fighting you on this? We also are on a Zoom together with something completely different. And I keep saying you need a niche down. You're like, I don't want a niche down.
I've been thinking, I even told a friend today, I'm like, I think Chelsea's here to help me find a niche.
I agree with your friend that I think I'm here to help you niche, because I get it. Like, I get, as an Enneagram 8, we feel this feeling like we're meant to carry the weight of the world, right? And help the world. And why would we ever want to limit ourselves, right? Because you probably also have a wing 7 where it's like the more is more. You feel that thing. And the thing about an 8 is they don't need to be in control, but they definitely don't want to be controlled. So by niching down, you feel like your niche itself is controlling you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I feel that sometimes with my schedule. I feel like I create such a beautiful structured schedule, and then it's almost like my own schedule is suffocating me. Do you feel that?
That, not so much,
Yes.
but
Wait until you're gonna niche down, and then you're gonna get so booked that you're like, oh my gosh, my own schedule is suffocating me. I feel like, like my schedule is controlling me. That's where I got to that point, and so then I had to really back away and look bird's eye view and restructure, so that way I didn't feel suffocated by my own schedule. So Okay, so here's what I think. I just feel that if we can figure out your niche, you will have such an easier time with social media. Because social media, I'm saying this from complete experience. If you don't know so clearly what your offer is, if you are not madly, deeply, wildly in love with what you do and who you are and what you have to offer in life, then social media is really tricky because you don't know how to shout to the world from the rooftops, this is why you want me. And no one in the world is better at this than me. Does that make sense? Fair. So that's where it's almost like the power of niching down. I know at first we can think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to suffocate myself because I'm going to limit myself. But you also have so many, it's almost like you have so many branches on your tree, you don't even know what branch to focus on that day.
Correct. And then that's exactly it. I don't know what to say or which part to talk about. So then I
On
just
social
stop
media.
myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you definitely have way too much going on. So, okay, so let's talk about and I think it's tough because the whole Manny Gen thing, like yes, as a manifesting generator, technically you're this multifaceted human being where you can get really obsessed with something for like 2 to 5 years and then you wake up one day and you're like, I'm totally over that. Now I want to go start this new thing. And you do have that ability to have like a billion plates in the air flying around at once. It's very, very true. But I also think that's like maybe a little bit in life itself. There's a difference in doing that in life and then doing that in business. In business, you need to be so clear about who you are, or no one really knows what you're the expert in. Because that's also the world. Like, think about the world that we're going into. I remember when the world started really going this way, and I remember Kobe bringing this up. So, both Kobe and I, we met working in a restaurant. It's a mom and pop restaurant, tiny little restaurant in our tiny little hometown. And on their menu, they have it all. They have appetizers and pizzas and steaks and grilled chicken and potato casseroles and pizzas and Mexican. And I'm like, Mexican, seriously. I know, right? They've got Mexican dishes. They've got Girl, I don't even know. Like, obviously, at one time I had the whole entire menu memorized, but like, it was a lot to memorize the entire menu, and it was a ton of pages. Chicken strips, like anything and everything you could ever think of, they had it on their menu. And then all of a sudden, we started watching the world go to Raising Cane's. We serve chicken fingers, coleslaw, bread, and fries. You have In-N-Out. We serve burgers and fries, and we even have ice cream shakes. Now, you can make your burger all the different crazy ways, but we serve burgers and fries, and we also have milkshakes. So you started watching the world go into this world of specialization, right? Where it's like they have the very best chicken fingers and fries and dipping sauce. They have the very best burgers. They have the very best fries. And so then what that does is you watch their success rise because nobody's better than them at creating that very specific thing.
Fair.
Does that make sense? So that's where we've got to get. So let's tell me in the perfect world where you could do absolutely everything. What are all the things that you wish you could do and offer? Start listing them. I'm gonna write them down.
I wish I could help women reinvent like retirement, like what life looks like after retirement. Like now they're done with all the people pleasing, done with doing everything everyone want the way everyone else wants, and they're just like, I'm living my life the best way possible, and I'm like finding me again. Um, I love working with women in business who are like looking to do business kind of without the burnout, meaning they like fully embrace all of them and
Yeah.
they're like, ooh, I really get to do this my way. And what does that look like? So, um, a lot of times they're like used to be corporate, now they're business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of letting go of that employee mindset of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So
like
maybe they are like a corporate to an entrepreneurial focus.
yeah. And I love helping people just explore who they are. So, like, even if they're like just out on their own for the first time and they're like, oh, you mean I get to have an apartment and choose whatever I want in it and do things my way? So, it's kind of that. It's like helping someone who realizes they really aren't restricted by all the rules, limitations, and crap they've been brought up on and what life has taught them so far. And now they're branching out on their own and doing life their way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else?
Um, I think it's something to do with like a new stage and phase of life. So like I went through a lot of things where I went from corporate and being single to finding my husband to then being a stepmom to being an entrepreneur now from corporate. So it's like there's something with the transition of like
I was
now they're
like,
ready.
yeah, it's like you're almost like you're. So is the hard thing like you're like, oh, am I going to market myself as a retirement coach, as a women who are shifting from corporate to entrepreneurial focus, women who are like 26 and they're just trying to figure out how to live their own best life all by themselves? Like, is that were you trying to? It's like, were you trying to find a specific topic within all of this?
I think where I get lost is when I tell people my story and all my transformations, they tend to latch on to like one little piece of it or a little part of it. I'm like, no, not really. That's not it. So maybe there's some kind of
So
underlying,
you feel like people are getting stuck in your story.
yeah.
Okay. But also, so where are you talking about your story so much that people are getting stuck in it?
So if I just tell people my transformation, like, oh, I did work-life balance and then I did my weight loss and then I like learned about the mindset and gotten into everything and got certified and now I'm here, like most people get stuck on the weight loss. And I'm like, no, like it doesn't matter if you lose weight if you're still miserable inside. Like we want you to
Yeah.
be you. So
Yeah.
it's like, and I have no desire to teach like any specific diet. Um, or because my background's culinary, people like latch on to the food. And it's like, yeah, I can teach you this stuff all day long, but each one of us has our own thing. And I'm not here to like preach macros at you or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think one thing that you might have to give yourself permission to do, which I have like one of my bestest friends is Manny Jen, and I tell her this all the time, that you have to, because one thing about being a manifesting generator is that you have a lot of cycles in life. You know, where other people might have like 3 to 5 career cycles, you'll have like 20 career cycles, and you might have to give yourself the permission to completely release certain pieces of your story for the sake of marketing.
I
You know,
feel
like there is a time where, especially when I was first getting grounded as a coach and getting myself out there as a coach, I didn't tell anyone at all that I had a really wildly successful career in direct sales because I didn't want them looking at me as like, oh, she's just this direct salesperson that like knows how to sell a cleanser. Because most people don't understand it's actually really effing hard to be wildly successful at direct sales. It's
believe
really
that.
hard. You have to be so intelligent, wildly business savvy, charismatic. You got to have all the skills. And the people that say that you don't have to have those skills, they're liars. They're liars. Now, I'm not saying there's not random fluke outliers that become really successful in it without that, but there's something else that they have that propelled them. Like maybe they had this insane, weird network that like they were really just influential in this network. And so, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way that, and so, but people would look at that as like, oh, I don't want to work with her. She's just going to want me to like sell a lipstick with her. And so I almost couldn't even say that. I had to just really say, like, I've been coaching women in business for 15 years. I've been an entrepreneur for a really long time. There was a time where I had my own brick and mortar where I would hold appointments for my previous business, and nobody really cared. Nobody asked because people are so focused on their own problems. No one was necessarily asking what that previous business was or what that looked like. I was validating in other ways. Like, oh, I had a brick and mortar. Like, oh, I've coached and mentored thousands of women in their own businesses over the last 15 years. And so you're saying the pieces that matter, you're not saying the pieces that cause people to get really stuck and then just sum you up and not really realize that you'd be a really helpful person. Because people can just get stuck on the weirdest things.
Right. And they hear what they want to hear, what they take out of it.
Exactly, exactly. So, I mean, a little bit of it, I think you have a couple things. Like one, I think you need to, it's almost like you need to like write your own keynote, like write a new keynote, like a keynote speech of life. So, write a new keynote. Two, I do think that you need to, yeah, I do think that you need to pick a niche, but I don't think that it's like you think it is. So I look at my coaching clientele and I'll just say I'll say like the 4 people in the last week that I've had appointments with. So let's see. So I have a new college graduate that I help her with just navigating life. Like I was hired to literally help her navigate, oh, I'm graduating and I'm going into being an adult. What does that look like? I need to do my finances. I need to do this. And her parents thought, can we just hire a coach to help her so we don't have to be the like not in a bad way, like they didn't want to take the responsibility of teaching her how to be an adult, but somebody who was just removed, unbiased, helping her guide through those things. So that's a client. Another one is she's probably 32, and navigating life where she wants to start her own business. She loves her corporate job, but she also wants to start a business on the side because if she ever wants to leave it, then it's there, right? She also wants to generate extra income. They're growing their family. I'm looking at my whiteboard. So let's see. Another client that I have, she is in her mid 40s and has had a lot of career transitioning herself, and she wants to keep looking for a new corporate job, but also wants to really grow her coaching business and wanted help on, like, she wanted me to help mentor her on the different things that she needs to set up to get this up and going. Another client that I have owns a brick and mortar, and she wants help growing personally so that way her brick and mortar can also grow. So I do a little bit of business coaching for her, but I also do a little bit of like personal growth work with her. And then I have another client who really just wanted some hardcore accountability to start the side business that she really, really wanted to start. And so at the end of the day, what I know is I help people get really clear on what they want and give them the accountability to go after that life, which is a clarity coach.
Okay.
But all their stories and their I'm like looking at this, I'm like, they're literally 22 to 59 years old that I'm working with right now. Like when I think of my youngest and I think of my oldest, they're 22 to 59 years old. So it wasn't necessarily this age of a woman or a certain career. Some of them are working corporate, some of them are already entrepreneurs, some of them are doing both. But it was really this woman who needed help getting a little bit more clear on exactly what she wants to do. And then she needs a little bit of accountability, like going after the thing to make sure she keeps going after the thing. And when she has some questions along the way, she has this person that she's already, in this coaching relationship with that can help her keep moving and stay clear.
Okay.
So when I look at your stuff, right? So you want to, think about helping women reinvent retirement to live their best life, helping women in business, they like living life without burnout, exploring who they are and growing and living their own best life. I guess what I see you as is no matter what stage of life a woman is in, it seems like your like deepest desire of your heart is to just help people live their best life.
And be themselves. Like finally for the first time be able to like let their guard down, be themselves and like make their own decisions and do silly little things because they want to and just figure out who they are again. Or for the first time.
Hmm.
There's something with it like them being free to be themselves and like embracing all the quirky parts.
Do you feel like you got to grow up being yourself?
Of course not.
So it's really that, right? Like it's like we always want for the rest of the world the parts and the things that we were missing. I got crazy, like I always say, like my parents were great. They all three of us kids, they encouraged us to like beat to our own drum, do what was ever best for us. They wanted us to just, chase our joy, and they were just there to like shine the flashlight on our joy and make sure that they were raising good humans. That was their biggest concern. It was like, oh my gosh, are we raising good, kind humans, right? That weren't lazy, that would work hard and like take care of themselves. And so, but then I like within that, right, I had my own things that the world gives at me. And I think that the world gives you these pains because you're meant to then take that and pivot that. And so I would turn your marketing around that woman who just believes like life is meant for more than this, or that wants to figure out who she is. And I mean, it really is kind of like a transformation coach, which is a thing, right? It's like you want to help them transform into what is this? Okay.
Like alignment too, like aligning with who they truly are.
Yeah, so I had this quote behind me that says she discovered who she was and the game changed. Now, the original quote says she remembered who she was and the game changed. And I was like, she didn't remember shit. She didn't know who she was at all, right? Like, she had to discover that. She had to uncover that. And so you've heard the story about like Michelangelo, where it's like he had all this junk all over. David always, or Michelangelo says that when he's like chiseled away David, he didn't like make David, but he just like chiseled away all that wasn't him. And that David emerged out of the pile of marble.
Yes. That. It's the deconditioning, like letting go of all the BS.
So essentially, you want to be the world's Michelangelo.
That sounds fantastic. Because it is. It's letting go. And I say that to one of my friends all the time. And she's like, you always say letting go. And I'm like, yes, because it's letting go of something that doesn't fit to make room for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like letting go of all these things you picked up for so long and like really truly figure out who you are under all this and bringing that light to the world. Like, because I can help people, like, they're dimming their light, they're hiding their gift. I'm like, no, we need to bring this to the world. Like, the rest of the people need to know. Like, we have to do this. And then it then comes in all the coaching, accountability, little pushes, helping them get things organized and try new things and get prepared to go in the world and try it.
I mean, have you ever thought about specifically being a, I know you love human design. Have you thought about being a deconditioning coach within human design?
I have, because I think it comes together. Um, I think it's first like just knowing your human design, and then I think it'd be really fun for people to ask questions every week of like what's going on, and then we meet up and we do our calls, our meetings, and we talk about it from the human design side, and then all the coaching of the deconditioning comes in to like how we want to move forward differently and what like would align for you to your human design. Um,
Because,
uh,
that's right. A lot of my clarity coaching clients come because they do an Enneagram session with me. They like find me because of the Enneagram. They do an Enneagram typing session. And then that kind of starts the conversation of like, oh my gosh, that's who I am. Like, let's figure out how to get into alignment with life according to that.
Right. And I think it's the having the human design part is great, or Enneagram is great because it gives you a jumping off point. And
Exactly.
people are like, ooh, instead of them having come up with answers, it gives them somewhere to start with. And then I can help them play with that and bring that to real life and have like and help them through the trials and tribulations that may come up with it. There's just with any change, I like change, but it's just like it's awkward and weird at first and there's that like transition period and it's like to have support with that is super fun.
I mean, and you are a little bit of an unbecoming coach, right?
Yes, yeah, 100%. It's like
Yeah.
exactly on
Yeah.
becoming everything you were, like, or not that you were, that like
Unbecoming everything
just
that the world has ever told you you're supposed to be, so you can really step into who you are designed to be.
right.
You know, is there, so when I say, when somebody says, oh, what does she do? And I say, oh, she's a deconditioning coach with human design. How do you feel about that? What comes up for you?
That no, that sounds fun because I think it is a lot of deconditioning, and I think for me then that's easy to explain. Is it's helping you let go of everything the world, your teachers, your parents, whatever put onto you that's not really yours, and getting to form who you really are in a fun like trial and error kind of way, but like will set you up for success in the best way possible.
I also think from a marketing standpoint, it's really great. When I say resistant, I mean for like the last 8 years, I was so resistant to anybody thinking like I was an Enneagram coach because I felt like I was put in such a box with that, which is like the irony of what people think about Enneagram in the first part. And then finally I said, oh, fine, 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 fine. And I got certified. And then still, I really didn't tell a lot of people about it. And then I bought a presentation program. And so then I did some of the presentations and people really enjoyed it. And then once I started my coaching company, I realized that the best thing that I can do for myself as a clarity coach, because I do still feel like you are a transformation coach. At the end of the day, you are helping people transform into the greatest version of themselves. But your gateway drug is a deconditioning coach with human design. So I think people find me because I'm an Enneagram coach and they're like, oh, I want to know more about the Enneagram. I don't work with her with the Enneagram. And then they start getting into that. And then they go, how else can I work with you? I just want to do everything that you do, right? And then that's when they realize, oh my gosh, like she can help me get really clear in these sessions. But they also know that you know them because you're using the personality modality of human design to be able to help them figure that out. And I
That
think it's fun to create pillars, and it's fun to be able to have that conversation piece around.
Yes.
You know,
And I'm always telling my husband I like having human design because it allows me to better help them. Like,
like, okay, so we could come to this and I could go, oh my gosh, you're not allowing yourself to niche because you're a control freak. Or we could come to this and I could say, you know, as an Enneagram 8, you would tend to be really resistant to feeling controlled. And so I can see how being consistently told you need to niche down causes you to feel like someone is trying to control you, like your own niche is trying to control you and tell you who you have to be. Was that fair?
fair. And I just think because of like my own past conditioning and like my childhood and then careers, I always had to fit everyone else's boxes to survive.
Yeah.
So it's also letting go of some of that, of being like, okay, wait, this is my business. I do get to do what I want to do, which
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But then there's so much mixed of niche or not niche, and I can help on so many things. And I'm like, but what do I really want to help on?
Well, and the conversation is so much smoother. Me being like, you're a control freak, or like, oh, I can see where as an Enneagram 8, this is coming up for you. You know, you need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
stop
yeah.
overthinking. Oh my gosh, all you do is overthink. You need to stop overthinking instead of going like, "Ooh, I think we're on the island of your five. You're overthinking," right? Like the conversation, as a coach, I love having a modality to be able to talk to people about that. So, like really like sit in it for a second. And I know you have to like let the emotions settle, which doesn't happen in 5 seconds, but just sitting here, how does it feel to think about being known as the world's Michelangelo, being a deconditioning coach with human design, helping people as a transformation coach?
Good. And I think if people don't like, I think human design is like astrology or anything else.
Hmm.
Like, some people just aren't into it. Like, so I'm fine if someone's not, if
I
they
mean,
don't want to
there's a lot
know.
of people that think Enneagram in the Midwest is like witchcraft. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think the deconditioning for sure and like chipping away what's not really meant for you, that is those two things I can get on board with for sure.
Yeah, so here's one thing is because at first I would go back and forth on really putting Enneagram on my stuff because I was worried that it would push some people away because they can get weird about it. And they're like, oh my gosh, Enneagram equals witchcraft or whatever. And you guys, if you're listening, you're like, why would they think that? The diagram with the 9 points. So in my presentation, I always joke, I'm like, Ennea means 9 and gram means drawing. It does not mean witchcraft, people. I just joke about it. Like I throw it under the bus before they're going to throw it under the bus and be like, is this from the devil? No, guys, this is not from the devil. But here's what I found is, okay, so if I ask you this question, can you really help someone decondition fully, do you feel, without touching human design?
Can.
Do you want to?
However, I think it would be faster and easier for everyone, not like to have the human design. At least it gives you a touch point to start with.
Agreed. So I think that from a marketing standpoint, because I went to school for marketing and business, from a marketing standpoint, I would label myself as a deconditioning coach with human design because the people that are out there in the world hunting for a human design coach, and then they see that not only are you a human design coach, but you're going to help them decondition to really step into who they are, that's going to be hook, line, and sinker because you're so specifically what they want. Because you don't need everyone in the world. You just need a tiny little slice of the internet that knows that nobody's better at this than you. And to really be able to do what you do best, you want to have access to it, right?
Of course.
Of course. So why not just niche hard and attract the clients that you specifically want to work with? The ones who are open, who want to decondition their lives, who want to transform, and are willing to do it with human design as the modality.
There's that moment of panic where you're like, this deconditioning and human design. I'm like, which is
Yeah.
so funny because I don't ever like deciding on one thing. But
Talk about
um,
the panic though. I think anybody can have this. So I'm asking you to niche down really, really hard, and you're like, oh, "There's the panic." What's the panic? Talk about the panic. Like, what are the things that are coming up for you right now?
one, I don't like, I follow a bunch of human design coaches on social, and I don't want to do it at all like they do it. And I
Okay.
feel like I have to if I'm a human design coach, which is silly.
Why?
I don't know, because even my husband said, well, do it however you want then.
Okay. I am an Enneagram coach. Do you ever see me as an Enneagram coach posting all the Enneagram memes all over my profile like you see every other Enneagram coach?
No, that's fantastic.
No, because I'm not that kind of Enneagram coach. Like, do not follow me because you want to share these dumbass memes that say what Christmas stocking you should get because that's your Enneagram type. Because I actually don't believe in those. I think those are the like dumbest crap ever because it's just not true. Like, it's not true across the board that all Enneagram nines want a blanket for Christmas, for gosh sakes. Like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I know that they're doing it because it gets the likes and it gets the shares and it gets the comments. Like, I know why they're doing it, but it's just not who I am because it's not as an eight, it, eights need full transparency, right? And so as an eight, I'm like, that's not true for everyone, you know? So you
Yeah.
don't want to do what other human design coaches are doing on Instagram. Okay. What else? What else comes up for you? It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this.
It's like, what if someone doesn't want to do the human design part?
It might not be for you.
Maybe.
How do you feel about that?
Oh,
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's pretend you and I are working together. And I'm like dead set against human design. What I want to know is if you're really honest with yourself, how frustrating is it at the end of every session that it's taking 3 times longer for you to get to the meat of where you're trying to take me? Because I refuse to believe in human design.
okay, fair. Then it's not helpful. It's not being the most helpful it can be.
Correct. And is it possible that you might become, what is that? You know, like projectors become bitter and generators become frustrated. What do Manny Gens become?
It's frustration is our,
It's
and it can
frustration.
be, it's frustration and it can be anger from the manifester side.
So the more dissonant, right? It's going to create this disconnect because at the end of the day, you're not full, you and your client aren't even in full alignment, right?
Okay.
Isn't that fair?
No, that is fair.
Real quick, before we dive back in, I want to share something I created for the women who are growing but still kind of feel like they're doing it alone. If that statement just hit, then this is for you. I've never felt so aligned and so alone, is the message I kept hearing as more and more women were falling in love with their life doing what they were born to do. They were craving that like minded, iron sharpening iron relationship with other women who were as focused, powerful, and determined to be positive as they were. And that is why I created the Growth Collective. It's our All Things Excellence book club community where you don't have to read the book because audio and PDF cliff notes are provided for you. There's a community for you to connect and network with other growth-minded women, plus 2 monthly Zooms where you receive connection and live coaching from me. Head on over to chelseadbc.com/book club to join us. All right, let's get back into it because what you're hearing today is exactly why spaces like the Growth Collective exist. We were never meant to grow alone. So when you think about that, I think we think if I niche down too hard, I'm going to close out the majority of the world. And I say if you don't niche down, no one's going to know if you're the person for them.
Yeah, I understand that because
Hmm.
you need to know that people understand you or want to understand you to then be like, okay, I want to work with her.
Isn't that the whole premise of your coaching? You felt like growing up, nobody actually understood you and let you just be yourself?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the gift my husband gave me, and then through coaching, I found more and more and more of how to be myself, and like now I can be a better wife and stepmom and me and coach and business owner and dog mom, everything. So it's like that's what I want to like the gift I want to keep paying forward and have going through so many trials and tribulations. It's like I feel like I am the best person to support someone through that change and transition and deconditioning into alignment. And what I love about it is alignment's ever evolving. Life is ever evolving. So it's like continuing to explore who we are and who we will be. And it's a constant growth.
Yeah. And I think that's great. I think saying you're a transformation coach or a deconditioning coach who, with the emphasis in human design. I think that's really good because I think people are going to find you for human design. I think they're going to find you for deconditioning, transformation, whatever. I always say, like, I'm an alignment and clarity coach who specializes in the Enneagram. I mean, I'm also certified in human design, obviously, but for the most part, I stick with Enneagram, and people are really drawn to that. And then I use the Enneagram as a marketing tool. So I'll have free Enneagram classes that people can come to. I'll do Enneagram presentations at networking groups, at gatherings. So I do think then bringing that in, it allows you to have this really great marketing tool. And then you go, so as a human design coach, like what I help people do within human design is I help them decondition and transform into that person that they know that they really are inside, like after they shed off the world, everything that the world has put on them. How does
Yes.
that feel?
That feels good.
That feels good. And who is that person? Well, you can say I work with all people. You can say I work with women. I always say I work with women just because I just have a really deep heart for women. I mean, I look at the books. Y'all, I have hundreds and hundreds of books behind me, and there are enough books written by men. There are enough coaches and speakers and leaders that are men, and I think that we need women who specialize for just women, right? Where we create these safe places for women. So that's like my personal thing, but you could do men and women, whichever one you want to do. I know our mutual friend, like she loves coaching either, but still women tend to really be the people that gravitate towards her, and not that I don't have a couple of guys that I coach from time to time, but it's way more rare. I definitely put my marketing as women. But again, still the world will come to you. When I was building my direct sales team really big, I would always say you got to get really insanely specific on who you want to work with as customers and clients because the world's going to give you everything. So you might as well ask
Oh,
exactly what you want.
I believe. Sometimes I feel like I'm tested. Like as soon as I'm like, oh, I only work with women, then all of a sudden there's like a man in my class or someone
Hmm.
this. And I have worked with guys before and had both sides of the spectrum, really good and really bad. Um, so it's like I think with that, it's just more
Yeah.
situational on the person in front of you of like if you guys vibed or not.
Yep. 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 But I also think you can, I think then from a marketing standpoint, so making peace with social media as the beast that it is and helping you embrace it, I think that this then becomes really easy. Like between you and chat, you guys know I'm not a fan of overusing chat. I'm like, use your own damn brain. Like you are a very smart human. You've gotten yourself this far. Like, what do you think you should do? I don't believe in going to chat to ask it like what to do per se. But could you throw up into chat how you want to be the world's Michelangelo? You want to be a deconditioning coach. You want to be a transformation coach. You specialize in human design. You don't want to do anything like other human design coaches are doing. And then explain what is that? What is it about how they're posting and creating content on social media that you don't like, right? Tell chat what you don't like about it. What if they don't want to do the human design part and say that? Say, like there's going to be people that don't know what human design is. There's going to be people that look at my account that aren't sure if they want to do human design. So we've got to step lightly, knowing that most people don't even know what it is, let alone feel secure being able to do it. So you can type all of this stuff into chat and then say, can you give me a 30-day social media plan where I have content that's posting 5 days a week.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Because I think that some of it is just going, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. And then looking at certain trends and going, okay, so like, what is that for me? So a certain trend, a social media trend that's going around right now, Kanye released some betrayal list or something. It was like all the people that had betrayed him. I don't know. I'm not like a pop culture person, but it very much was a thing that's like flying all over social media this week. Okay, so I can go to my bot that helps me do a lot of things and I can say, hey, can you help me make the trendy betrayal list like as a clarity coach? And it shot me out something. And then I went within it and I edited it to make it sound like really me, but it still helped me have a guideline. And so we've done that. What I found with social media personally was when I really, really struggled, it was because I wasn't quite sure what I was the master at. So it was really hard to know what to post.
Yeah, and that's where I get stuck. I'm like, oh, I can talk about this, this, and this. And then I feel like I'm confusing people because I'm talking about something different every day.
Okay, so within this, do you feel like you know your offers? Do you feel like if you only had 1 to 2 offers to scream from the rooftops, that when you go to networking groups, it's what you talk about. When people ask you what you do, it's what you talk about. When you're in the elevator with somebody and they ask you, who are you? Where do you work? This is what you talk about.
The ones I've been playing with lately are human design reading, so that's easy. That's like your opt-in, like
Yeah,
do
but
that so we can do everything else.
that's my Enneagram typing session. Like, I mean, I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
maybe
So
that's just part of the packages.
yeah, that's just like a thing. That's like a party trick.
Okay. The things I've been tossing around in my mind are one is like a light support where they kind of like just fill out a form of what they want to know more about. They let me know, like just answer a few questions, and then we jump on the call quick, like for like a half hour. And
But
like we,
what's the point of it? Like how? Okay, honestly, when you said light support, I thought you meant like a light, like a flashlight. I was like, oh my gosh, she's the light support. Shining a light on the things that I don't see or something. I don't know. That's like what I had in my head.
funny. I was thinking more like light support, like someone who's busy on the go, maybe doesn't have time to do like a deep dive into everything.
Yeah.
So I could either message back or we could jump on a call. There's two different options there. One could just be like, hey, here's what your human design has to say about this, and then here's some prompts to consider.
But
And then,
what's the point of the call? What's the point? Like what from a marketing standpoint, what's the point of that offer?
for them to learn more about themselves and get like gain insights on where they want to go.
If you could hook them, like how could you hook me to convince? Why would I need that?
I guess for me, that package would be more about like someone just curious to know more. Like what I typically do with people is a 6 month package. We meet weekly and deep dive into everything. So I help them like plan their days their best, let go of the people pleasing, let go of perfectionism, sort out like what they need to like
Like
nourish
full
their mind.
deconditioning, right?
Yeah, let go of all the deconditioning and like bringing them and what they love to the surface.
So the first one, can I ask you a question? Of course I can. You're here. So the first one with the light support for its people that are just curious, but they don't even want to do a reading.
Well, the reading would be they'd do a reading. That would be like the first, we'd actually do a reading and a call. And then from there, it'd just be like, hey, just each week I want to reach out about something going on in my life and kind of see what my human design has to say about it. And like I would prompt them of like things to think about.
Oh, almost like a Voxer support pass,
Yes.
where
And
they
then,
purchase the right to be in conversation with you.
yes. And then,
Okay.
so they ask the question, I get back to them either voice, video, or email, like, and give
Yeah.
them a place to look at and explore.
You need to talk with chat to come up with a really good name for that. Because when what you were describing, I was like, who would want that, honestly? But then when you explained that it's basically what they're buying is, so I would make them purchase a membership to it. I'd probably make it a membership. You would have to cap it because you can't have a million in there, you know. Also, the rate that they can reach out to you is so high that you would need to price it accordingly. But again, I'd ask chat because chat scours the internet to find like what are other people kind of pricing this, that with what you do and your modality. And so it's almost like again, I'm like I can't even think of a name, but I would ask chat to like give me a list of 10 names and I would start going on like which one really hits and resonates with you the most. But it sounds like you want to offer this Voxer pass where it's like you basically close your human design reading and it's like, okay, so now after this, there are two different directions that my clients tend to go. One is it's a Voxer pass where you just purchase this monthly membership, and what that means is through the month, as things are happening in your life, you have this membership where you can reach out to me, let me know the scenario, what's happening, and I can get back to you as to like why that's happening and how your human design affects what's happening. The other one is we can do a 6 month membership where you have weekly coaching sessions, but you also have that in between session support. So the one is just the membership where you're reaching out to me and we're having the conversations here and there, but the other one you also get a weekly coaching session to go over everything plus the in between session support for the conversations, correct? Yeah, I think that's incredible.
Okay.
I love it, honestly, because I think The first year and a half that I was diving into human design, I needed that. Well, at first I met every week and then I met every other week. I started spacing it out. So you could do that. Like you could do like a 6 month thing where there's weekly sessions, or you could say, you know, here's the deal. Like you get 20 sessions and they need to be scheduled every 1 to 4 weeks because some people just aren't going to want to meet on a week to week basis. Like I can tell you right now, like a lot of my clients, they just have life going on or they're traveling or with their work schedule. They can sometimes meet every single week, but sometimes it needs to be like, I can't meet for 3 weeks or I can't meet for 4 weeks, whatever. And you would never want them to feel that pressure. So you could do that. But again, you would get to price it accordingly because then they do get longer in between session support. So I think that's cool. I did that with human design for the first year and a half. But now the idea of like this Voxer pass of like, hey, this is really coming up in my life right now. I just want to shoot you a question and have a conversation back and forth for like 5 minutes about it.
Right, which I think that's like crucial, especially if you're in something deep or something comes up that
And
you weren't
rare.
expecting.
I don't know anybody that has that.
Okay.
I think it's brilliant.
Thank you.
And I think it's also very eight of you. I mean, that's why I'm like, oh, this is called a Voxer Pass. Like I have this offer on my website, but obviously it is not with human design at all. It's just like life in general. You can go there. And I think as an Enneagram 8, the last thing that we ever want to see people in is a spiral. It makes us insane because we want to feel like everyone is having the progress we know they should be having. Fair, right? Like when you said to me, "Oh my gosh, I need a boat. I need to get a boat to get off this island of indecision." I was like, "What are you doing tomorrow? I don't want you here anymore. Are you awake? I know we're on different time zones. Do you want to talk right now? I'll rearrange my schedule. I'll stay home from this game. I will talk right now." Right? Because we don't want that. We don't want a week to go by. I don't want them to live in indecision for a week. Life is too good.
Yes, and I couldn't stand that with some coaches I've worked with in the past where they're like, oh, you can just reach out and then they like don't talk to me till the day before a session. What help is that? I needed you 4 days ago.
And I
Or
think
I
it's great
want like,
too. Just charge for it. You just have to charge for it and you have to set your packages up to reflect that and talk about it like that. So I think if you had these three things where it's like obviously you offer the generic design reading so they see if this is for them. And then from there you go, okay, so now after that session you can go, one of three directions. One, the Voxer Pass kind of membershipy thingy, to the 6 months of sessions with in between session support, or three, right now you're not quite sure what you want to do with it, but you're going to reach back out to me at a later date. Yeah, I probably wouldn't actually say that one, but yeah. How do you feel about that? Those three things, like your reading, your Voxer Pass, and your 6 month sessions.
I think that's good because I think it gives options. It gives them the initial buy-in of like the reading, see what
Hmm.
it's about, see what's
Hmm.
going on, and then I can gauge
Hmm.
also which next package might be great for them. So then I can tell them like the pros and cons or the pros of which one they'd want to choose more. And then also I think it's fun because like if someone's new to it, you would want to most likely if you had time deep dive into it and then maybe transition to the other package.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on where they're at in life. Where they're just like, oh my gosh, I would love more than anything to do that. But it's actually really a crazy 3 month period for me, but I don't want to not be able to talk to you. So I'm going to take the Voxer Pass one for now. And then, at the beginning of the year, I'd love to get into the session one.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, so when it comes to your social media, then what I would do is I would be promoting like crazy the reading, right? So you would have like where they can get their chart for free, and you would be promoting like crazy where they can set up a whatever hour session to be able to understand their chart because it looks like madness. It's the wildest thing. Nobody would never know where to start. And then you can promote people who want to get deeper into human design, like with the Voxer Pass. And then I think you can find like people who are ready to do this deep dive. Like you've heard of human design, you'd love to do a deep dive. You want to figure out, and I think you can promote yourself as a deconditioning coach, as a transformation coach, and you can kind of talk about those packages, or you can really just make social media about transformation and deconditioning and then lure people to you. Attract people to you with those things. So how would it feel to go to your social media and your website right now and package it like that?
I think that sounds fun. And I think I get caught up on my website and change it all the time based on whatever people are like, oh, this or that. So I think I just need to like trim out all the fat. Like get to like a one page website. Here's the basics. Basically, let's just talk. Because
Hmm.
that's how we really get to know anyways. Like,
Yep. Yep. And I think in reality, it sounds to me the last thing that you want to be is like a fitness culinary coach, correct? So I would release all of that stuff, right? Like be the Raising Canes, the Five Guys, the in and out of deconditioning coaches.
yes, that
So that
sounds
when
wonderful.
people find you, they know exactly what you're the master of.
Yeah, I really think
You know,
deconditioning, alignment, however you want to say it, but deconditioning is really is letting go of all the crap.
it is. And I want you to think from a marketing standpoint, I always want you to think about that. Like, am I the small town mom and pop restaurant that offers everything from steak, pasta, pizza, Mexican? Or am I the Raising Cane's, the In and Out, the Five Guys, the Pizza Hut? Like, I am the master at this one thing. Nobody makes better chicken strips than us, you know. So I think you need to take all of that and figure out, what's your chicken strip, coleslaw, French fry, toast menu, and then put your entire social media and your website to that. And just know that how you're working with women does not limit who you're working with. Do you feel that?
Do you say it a different way?
So, how you're working with them, in other words, at the end of the day, you help women decondition and transform into themselves, maybe for the first time ever, and live the life that they've always wanted to live, or maybe didn't even know they were supposed to live.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So that's the how, right? How do you help women? You help them decondition and step into living their very best life, transform into living their very best life. That will never limit who you work with. You might work with the woman who wants to reinvent herself in retirement, the woman who's burnout and wants to go from corporate to owning her own business, the woman who's just exploring who they are and moving into their own apartment and living on their own for the first time. Like, you might help any of those women. The who you help is going to be really, really broad. It's just how you're helping them. You're very specifically helping them decondition in their situation while using the modality of human design.
Right. And the deconditioning is a filter because that means then they're ready to do the work. And they want a kick ass sidekick along the way.
Correct.
Okay. And
Correct.
some direction with the human design. Like some more,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, here's a starting point, and then from there we make it our own and make sure we make it your own.
Yeah. And it's so fun. I have one of my dearest friends. She is very wildly successful in technology sales for one of the main tech companies in the world. And her boss had been doing coaching with human design after my friend watched me get so insanely firm into who I am and to who I am not. Because I think that's also what human design helps you do. You get so firm and this is who I am, but you also really go, this is also who I am not. So I've been studying it for 3 years, and she watched me for a year, a year and a half, somewhere in there. It might have even just been, no, it was a year and a half. She watched me for a year and a half. And then a year and a half ago, we were together, we were rooming together at a conference, and she was like, okay, tell me about this thing. You know, tell me about this. And we're both like, born into like deep Midwest Christian families. So she's like, tell me about this thing, like enlighten me. And so I told her, and now not only does she has been coaching for the last year and a half with it, but so is her boss. And as tech salespeople, it's helping them be more successful as tech salespeople.
True. True. And it helps all over because even my husband, I get to tell him things and he's into it and it helps our relationship and it helps all
Yep.
of it. And it's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
every
love it.
time I learn more, it's like you get to be more of you.
Exactly. You do. I mean, so go be the world's Michelangelo. Okay. So what questions or uncertainties do you still have? What makes you still feel like you're still a little bit on the island of indecision?
I don't think I am, but again, like tomorrow, we'll see. But I like the idea of deconditioning and sticking with that because that's been rolling around in my head the last few days anyways of the deconditioning package. And I like the kind of like boxer, the like lighter support of like, hey, like you may not have a lot of time, but you still deserve the support. Jump in, I got you.
You know what's hard is it's not necessarily lighter support. So you can't price it like that. You gotta call it a Voxer pass because it honestly it's easier to do a one-on-one coaching session with someone once every 1 to 4 weeks. Because at the end of the day, you might end up having this like ongoing conversation that's really heavy 1 week, and then you don't hear from them for 3 weeks, and then you hear from them a lot 1 week, and so it really isn't lighter. It's more about how the conversation is happening.
Yeah. It's more about convenience to make it work for their lifestyle.
Correct, correct. Like if I only gave you one or the other, I almost feel like you would choose the never ending one, the Voxer Pass one, over the session one because you would rather I'm just constantly there in your pocket than only there once every 1 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, and it might even depend on like the time of life. And I'm like, I almost picture there's like a third option now. There's like the constant boxer, the
Hmm.
only the weekly calls because you want to just once a week now, and then a third one where you get the constant support and the weekly call, or maybe bi-weekly. Like maybe that makes more sense because that's not as
Yeah.
heavy.
I mean, that is why I do 6 sessions and I allow them to schedule them every 1 to 4 weeks because life is wild. And sometimes we're gone that week. Hello.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's a thing. Like we also have our own lives and we travel and we have our own conferences and our own coaching that we have to go to. So yeah, I could see that because there's going to be some people that they don't even want the in-between session support. They just want to meet with you one-on-one. So I could see those three things and where you cheer them up. So here's my encouragement with you is even when you wake up tomorrow and you're like, oh my gosh, I encourage you to just dive into it and do it because when you're acting in it, like, right? So movement creates momentum, right? Activity creates an explosion. So get in the thick of it and start going and seeing what you love about it and maybe what you don't like about it, and then allow yourself to pivot as you go.
Yeah, and I'm playing more now lately with like just following the flow. Like what seems like the next best step and like not thinking I have to have like one perfect answer. So
Mhm.
that's been a lot of fun to play with too of just like let's see where this goes. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be great. I think.
and send Chelsea an SOS. Send a boat.
Hello. I'm stuck on the island of indecision again.
I'm going to Island 5. Send me back to 8 and then to
Okay.
2.
See, like when women feel like they just need to unbecome all the world has ever told them to who they are so they can step into everything they were meant to be, they need to go to you. When women are like, I'm stuck on a freaking island of indecision and I can't make a decision this week and I just need help. I just need somebody to sort through all the junk in my head and just make structure out of everything that's swirling in my brain. Nobody's better at that than me. Nobody.
This is true.
So imagine if I didn't niche down to that. Yeah, niche down.
Okay.
There we go. All right, all things excellence fam. The moral of the story today is niching down will help you become more successful quicker. It's not limiting you, it's helping women know who you are, what you're a master at, and the fact that nobody in town makes a better chicken strip than you. All right, if y'all want to unbecome everything you are and step into who the world wants you to be, I can tell you where to go. I can connect you with my friend here. And obviously, if you're swirling and you are on the island of indecision, I'm your girl. I'm always here for you. Thank you so much for joining our unscripted episode today, y'all. I hope this helped you. If you are interested on being on our next episode of Unscripted, please reach out to us, email us at schedule@chelseadbc.com, and we will connect with you and we will get you on our schedule and we will help you find the clarity that you're searching for. So until next time, all things excellence fam, thank you for listening. Thanks for listening to All Things Excellence. If something landed with you today, I'd love for you to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find these transformational conversations. And if you're ready for support with your next step, or needing someone to stand in the gap with you to figure out what that even is, I'd love to create that space for you. And my intro clarity call is a great place to start because life is too quick and too full to have to figure it out alone. Until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thank you for listening.